Dear students, welcome to the first session of the third chapter of Corporate Secretaryship, that is Secretarial Role in Corporate Affairs. In this video, I am going to cover the following aspects: meaning of directors, definition of a director, legal position of the directors, and also with regard to types of directors. So let me begin the session now. The first concept here is about the meaning of directors. As you know that a company is an artificial person created by law which has legal existence, but it does not have physical existence like us. That is why whenever a company would like to contract with a third party, the company will need a person who would act on behalf of the company. Such a person is known as the director of the company. The directors are the persons who are elected by the shareholders to direct, to conduct, to manage, and also to supervise the affairs of the company. In simple words, we can say that a person who is hired by the company to act on behalf of it and also who has to carry out the affairs of the company is called as the director of the company. Then let us take up the second concept here, that is definition of a director as per Companies Act of 2013. Section 2 subsection 34 of the Companies Act of 2013 defines a director as a person who is appointed to the board of directors of the company. Then section 2 subsection 10 of the Companies Act of 2013 states that board or board of directors means it is a collective body of board of directors of the company. So in simple words, a person who is appointed to be included in the collective body of board of directors is called as the board of directors. That is what we can understand by this definition. As long as a person is appointed by a company to control its business and who is authorized by the articles of association to enter into any contract in the name of the company and functions on behalf of the company, that person shall continue to be the director of the company. In simple words, it means that after a person is appointed by the company to look after its affairs until he is removed for a valid reason, he shall be continue to act as a director of the company. Then let us move on to the next concept here, that is legal position of the directors. As we have discussed in the previous slide, the administration of the company is in the hands of directors. They are the persons who are responsible for directing, conducting, managing, and also for supervising the affairs of the company. The board of directors as a collective body take decisions on policy matters of the company. But we should also know what are their legal positions in the company. The directors are not paid servants of the company, rather they are the officers of the company. They serve in three different ways, that is as a trustee, as an agent, as organs of corporate body. Let us see in the next slide how a director serves as the trustee of the company. The first point says that the directors are not owners of the company and they do not function as the owner while entering into any contract with the third person. They are just the trustees or they are just the officers of the company who would act on behalf of the company. Directors are the trustees of the company who are accountable for company's money as well as company's property. Furthermore, the directors shall use their power only in the interest of the company. They are not supposed to misuse their power for any reason. The second point says that the directors are expected to show capacity and diligence as a trustee. In the sense, they will have to put in their efforts to bring up the name of the company. If at all the directors misuse their position, then they will be held liable for that. The third point says that the director shall also act as a trustee in connection with the transfer and distribution of shares. So these are the 3 points which tells us that the directors are not the paid servants of the company, they are the officers who are also acting as the trustee of the company. Then let us see how the director acts as an agent of the company. The first point states that the position of a director in the company is like an agent because a director has to function as per the provisions which are contained in the articles of association of the company and also as per the company law. He cannot act on his own. In the sense, he cannot take his own decisions while looking after the affairs of the company. He is just acting on behalf of the company like an agent. That is what we can understand by this first point. Dear students, welcome to the first session of the third chapter of Corporate Secretaryship, that is Secretarial Role in Corporate Affairs. In this video, I am going to cover the following aspects: meaning of directors, definition of a director, legal position of the directors, and also with regard to types of directors. So let me begin the session now. The first concept here is about the meaning of directors. As you know that a company is an artificial person created by law which has legal existence but it does not have physical existence like us. That is why whenever a company would like to contract with a third party, the company will need a person who would act on behalf of the company. Such a person is known as the director of the company. The directors are the persons who are elected by the shareholders to direct, to conduct, to manage, and also to supervise the affairs of the company. In simple words, we can say that a person who is hired by the company to act on behalf of it and also who has to carry out the affairs of the company is called as the director of the company. Then let us take up the second concept here, that is definition. Organic theory of corporate life treats certain officials of the company as the organs of the company for whose action the company is held liable just like a natural person. In the sense, whatever the actions done by the directors, the company will be held liable for that. As we discussed in the previous slide, whenever a director enters into a contract with a third person, tomorrow if any liability arises because of that contract, the liability will have to be borne by the company and not by the director, because director was just acting as an agent. So whatever the actions done by the director, the company will be held liable for that. As per the traditional approach, the directors were just considered as an agent or the trustees of the company, but now, as per the modern approach, the directors are more than mere agents or mere trustees, and hence the board of directors, which is a collective body of directors, is considered to be the primary organ of the company. Okay, so by all this discussion, we can understand that the directors are not the servants of the company, but they are the officials who act as a trustee, who act as an agent, and who are considered to be the primary organs of the company. Let us discuss about the last concept of this video, that is types of directors. In total, there are 7 types of directors. Let's see one by one. The first one is the residential director. As per company law, every company needs to appoint a director who has stayed in India for not less than 182 days in the previous calendar year. In the sense, when a person stays in India for a minimum of 182 days in the previous calendar year, he shall be called as the Indian resident. When such a Indian resident is appointed as a director of a company, he is known as the residential director. So that is what meant by residential director. Then the second type is the independent director. Independent director or a non-executive director helps in bringing up the company, and he acts as a bridge between management and shareholders by encouraging principles of corporate governance through providing transparency, accountability and disclosures in the working of the company without having any material relationship with the company. It simply means that independent director or non-executive director are outsiders who do not have any kind of material relationship with the company, but they are appointed as a director to look after the corporate governance and maintenance of transparency in the company. The tenure of the independent director shall go up to 5 consecutive years. However, they shall be entitled to reappointment by passing a special resolution with the disclosure in board's report, that is board of directors report. The following companies need to appoint at least 2 independent directors. The first one, public companies with paid up capital of rupees 10 crore or more. The second one, public companies with the turnover of 100 crore or more. The third one, public companies with the total outstanding loans, deposits and debentures of rupees 50 crore or more. In all these 3 cases, they have to appoint minimum of 2 independent directors in order to maintain corporate governance and transparency in the company. Then the third one is the small shareholders directors. A listed company, that is whose shares are listed in the stock exchanges, would appoint a person as a small shareholders directors on receiving a notice from minimum of 1000 small shareholders or from receiving a notice from 10% of the small shareholders, whichever is lower. Such a director would be elected by the small shareholders because that person shall be appointed who would be representing the small shareholders class in the company. So that person is called as the small shareholders director because he is appointed by the small shareholders and also he is going to represent the small shareholders class in the company. Then the fourth one is the women director. A company, whether it is a private company or it is a public company, would be required to appoint minimum of one women director in case it satisfies any of the following criteria. The first one, the company is a listed company and its securities are listed on the stock exchange. So when a company is a listed company whose shares are listed in the stock exchange, they have to appoint minimum of one women director. And the second criteria here is that the paid up capital of such company is rupees 100 crore or more with a turnover of rupees 300 crore or more. Even when the company satisfies the second criteria, they are required to appoint one minimum of one women director. Fifth type of director is the additional director. A person could be appointed as an additional director if it is required and he can occupy his post until next annual general meeting. In the absence of holding annual general meeting, his term would end on the date on which they had to hold the annual general meeting. Okay, then the sixth type is alternate director. Alternate director refers to a personnel or a person who is appointed by the board to fill in for a director who might be absent from the country for more than 3 months. So if the actual director is out of the country for 3 months, then the board would appoint a person who would be acting as an alternate for the actual director. Then the seventh one is the nominee directors. Nominee directors could be appointed by a specific class of shareholders or by a specific class of banks or lending institutions or by third parties through contracts or even by the union government in the case of operation or mismanagement. So whenever they find that there is mismanagement of funds in the company, any specific class of shareholders or the banks or lending institutions or the third parties through the contract or the union government may appoint nominee directors who would be appointed to the board of directors of the company to see that the mismanagement is sorted out. These are the contents of the video. First we spoke about meaning of director, then about definition of a director, and third about legal position of the director, and now about the different types of directors. Then let us see the few more concepts in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.